कर्णस्वर्णविलोलकुण्डलधरामापीनवक्षोरुहां मुक्ताहारविभूषणां परिलसद्धम्मिल्लसम्मल्लिकां लीलालोलितलोचनां शशिमुखीम् आबद्धकाञ्चीसृजं दीव्यन्तीं भुवनेश्वरीं अनुदिनं वन्दामहे मातरम्। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीभवानी शंकराय नमः। श्रीमात्रे नमः। We are all sadhakas and Purvajanma samskaras, so you want to achieve something in the spiritual field, so to say. And in this life also we have had satsang. Since we have had satsang and we have dabbled in the spiritual, there is so much that you can do. Yoga abhyasa, Vedanta chintana. But if I am to say what is something you can do consistently, irrespective of age, physical limitations or whatever, it is mantra japa. Even the saints have proclaimed nama smarana, nama sankirtana ityadi. But we do the nama sankirtana in a correct manner, in a, I can say, a little sophisticated manner because you have the samskaras, because you have been initiated. We accept that, we use the best that tradition can give us. Most of it we have discarded as useless and now we don't find time, so we have to start using it again and understand. So this mantra japa becomes very, very fundamental to your sadhana. So you are a spiritual aspirant, very good. What are you doing? Whatever you are doing. Can you spend 10 minutes for mantra japa? If you are not able to be consistent, then there is something seriously wrong. You have got your priorities messed up. So no amount of discussion over the coffee table, yes, I really am a sadhaka, I am very intense about it and all. And if you cannot spend even 10 to 15 minutes every day, there is something wrong. So that is what you will have to accept and then go about bringing this discipline. Because this is something you can do anywhere. You're staying overnight in a hotel, you can still do japa. You may not have place to do your very vigorous asana, pranayama, etc. This can be done. So we make it a mandatory exercise. And that is what was insisted upon, Trikala Sandhya Vandan, etc. Now even if you can't manage Trikala, at least once a day, and then do it intelligently. So we start with this basic conviction that this is something I need to do daily. And when the parampara, when the shastras, when the acharyas made it mandatory, they were very well aware of an individual's responsibilities, worries, tensions, guilts, whatever, which would seem to be unsurmountable. Oh, in Satya Yuga it was possible, in this Kali Yuga it may not be possible. That is not logical. So this is where your nishtha or your shraddha matters. I have been told to do this because I can do it. So let me not make excuses. You start with this. Otherwise, still that hard rock bed of resistance will be there. You have to break it. Only then you strike oil. So begin with that firm conviction. I have to do it, I can do it, and I will do it every day. I shall do it. Then when you sit for the actual japa, we are going into a little theory. Meditation, yes, meditation is almost the culmination. Till then, you have to make your own efforts. Getting up in the morning is one effort. Sitting is another, very deliberate attempt on your part to do something. Then when you sit, you take time out, you stretch. We'll go into that today. We'll do the basics, then go into japa. This is all in your hands. God is not going to make you do it. He may send some major problem in your path and then you will wake up and start being more diligent. That's about all. But otherwise it is your own, I will do it. And meditation is when I am doing this feeling subsides because it is happening and you don't want to disturb it. You understand? That's why I give the example of a book. Initially you have to take care, you have to have your glasses on, you should know the language, all that is there. You start reading, but when you're caught up in the story, in the narrative, you don't want to be disturbed and you don't want even yourself to disturb yourself. The feeling that I am reading is a nuisance, is a hindrance when you're getting involved in the story. So that is how I'll rate meditation. Your japa is going on so beautifully. The sanidhya, the presence, the immediate presence of the Ishtadevata or the Guru Shakti is so palpable, you don't want to disturb it. So at that level, I should attain, all these ambitions also fade off. And your yama niyama will ensure that that insistence, ahankara, is kept at bay. Makes sense? All that is practiced initially is going to help in the final illumination or the just immediate steps, precursors to illumination. So, generally we'll have done the asana pranayam in the morning, or if your japa is right in the morning, then you'll be doing the asanas and the pranayama, rigorous pranayama later. So anything I refer to as pranayama just before japa is very mild. It's not excessive. You cannot afford to waste time in that. It's just a stabilizing, a centering. So now the second theory, mantra japa per se. We have certain, at least 5 elements which I have included. So the sadhakas and the sadhikas who do the anushtans always use this. This is a different department altogether. It is mantra shastra. When we sit to meditate, we are not just going to meditate on the abstract. We are not going to do vipassana, observe the breath. We have been given a mantra and we are going to use it intelligently. That mantra has its own demands. The mantra is what we have heard and we are repeating is the vehicle for the Chaitanya, the Devata. So I treat it with respect. So when I am given the mantra diksha, I am given the vinyoga and the nyasa. Right? So how do I start? I generally have the achaman, pranayam, etc. I do the achaman. I purify the internal system through the achaman. I do the abhimantrana of the jala. Umahim atma tattvam shodhyami namah swaha. Sip 3 times. Wash the hand. Then achamana, pranayam. You can do pranayam. Very gentle. You can do just anulom vinlom. Inhalation, exhale, inhale, exhale. Preferably do it 1:2 ratio. 5 counts of inhalation, 10 counts of exhalation. A second or 2 pause. Again inhalation, a second or 2 pause. Antara kumbhaka, exhalation. That simple ratio of 1:2 is enough. And just a brief pause. You are not doing major kumbhakas with all the bandhas and jalandhar bandha. Simple. This is just before japa. That stabilizes the prana. The sanchara becomes very, very correct. It will open up the nadis, it will purify them. And you will feel the effect on the mind. That can be done. Once that is done, a little water in the left palm, prokshana. With your ishta mantra or apavitra pavitro va sarvavasthangato piya yasmaryat pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantara shuchihi. What is this? Is this in lieu of a bath or something? No. This is different. Particles of water should be in the air. When you do the japa, that water, sparsha of water has to be there. So I do that also. Then I can do the asana shuddhi. Prithvi tvaya dhruta loka, the earth. So I invoke that. She is Lakshmi. You are held by Vishnu and now you hold me. So protect me, make my asana, my posture steady. I invoke you. I am invoking the divinity in the gross earth, which I normally tend to overlook, neglect. So I invoke that. So whatever I touch, I am divinizing. It is not just water, it is abhimantrit water. It is not just earth. It is Vishnu Patni. She is going to support me. So I am charging myself with that bhavna also. That. The other element is digbandhana. The mantra, when I begin the mantra is power. The mantra is going to lead my mind to its very source. So it becomes very subtle. It becomes very brisk. The mantra japa has to be brisk. It is not a slow, labored process. So since I'll be totally focusing on that, I cannot afford to be disturbed. So when you're moving around in the city, in an office, in a crowded marketplace, any amount of noise you can tolerate. It doesn't matter. But when you're sitting alone in a room and you think you're alone and suddenly there's just one noise, you can't, your whole system gets shaken. So when you're doing your mantra japa, if you're not protected, you can be hit at the psychic level by any unintentional, intentional, harmful thought. So you need to protect yourself. You may not be able to handle a big prayoga or something. That is another thing. But otherwise, drishti dosha ityadi asta. So all that can be deflected if you do the digbandhana. And if you do it regularly, it will become very strong. So this is what I tell. There are some children who are very, very susceptible. Drishti dosha. Now instead of getting some puja done every day or something, the mother can impart that digbandhana to the child if she has been doing her japa regularly. Such a simple thing, very powerful. So digbandhana, dik is disha, directions. Bandhana is like sealing off the directions. Sealing off the directions. Nothing negative will touch me. So if you go about it, you can do it with the chutika mudra. All the directions sealed off, up, down. This is one. Or with the Trishul mudra, you visualize. You're drawing an Agni prakar, Agni, fire around you. And what mantra do you generally say? Apasarpantu te bhuta, ye bhuta bhumi samsthitaha, ye bhuta vignakartaraha te nashyantu shivagnyaya. I am doing this japa with the agnya of the Guru of Shiva. And that is why, with the agnya of the Guru, with the adhikara, with the authority of Shiva, may all that is negative be kept away from me. So that is the digbandhana. We do it in another manner also, which will come up in the actual pravesha to meditation. This is extremely important. This can also be done. These are the 5 elements. Achamanam, pranayam, prokshana, asan shuddhi, digbandhana. Now you are prepared to go within. So before you suddenly try to plunge within, you have to take care of your mind. I'll give it later. So as I was mentioning yesterday, you can do it if you want, otherwise you can just see it and then practice it later. Basically, very simple, intelligent stretching. Here you have to accept that the body intelligence is there. The body is intelligent. It knows when it is uncomfortable, it makes you shift your position even if you are not aware of it. So using that same intelligence, even when you are dictating to the body, you say, I want to bend like that. Be careful, be very attentive. So your attention, that is dhyana, japa, or what shall I say, dharana, begins with this. And at this stage you will find your mind becomes very composed. So do this as not just a ritual, but with full awareness. So, because I am going to sit, the torso is going to feel a little uncomfortable if I have not exercised regularly and it is not, what shall I say, the muscular structure, etc. is not developed well. Position here, you have to make it comfortable when you sit. Sit in Siddhasan, Ardha Siddhasan, Padmasan, Sukhasan, whatever. If you are not very comfortable, by not very comfortable I mean, there is some sort of a stress here, you can roll up the asana, just 1 centimeter also elevation, you perch on that, it is going to make a difference. Suddenly you will find a release of the stress here. Much better. Use this intelligently. Take time over it, because this will help you when you start the japa. You can use a chair or a stool or something. Once I have done that, now I am taking care of the body. So I want to stretch, because now the torso, the shoulders, etc., I want to get the stress out of them. They have to be relaxed. And mind you, even if you have done your asana, stretching, etc. in the morning, the half an hour that it takes you to have a bath and sit for the official japa is enough to stiffen up the muscles again. So best you do this before you start the japa. At least this slowly, if not slower. That's all. Very simple. Take a breath, breathe out, or let the breath go out as the belly gets compressed. Nothing much. I'm just aware of the body. I'm aware of what is being stretched, etc. And I do it gently. Any jerks at this stage can result in muscle pull, which is very uncomfortable then. Even your breathing will be restricted if there is pain. So be careful. This is one. I can't do the third one here. 2, and go straight down. As much as you can do. There's no goal. You don't have to touch your chin to the knee or the forehead to the knee. Just feel here. If you can just manage this much, there's no issue. But feel the stretching that is happening. This is 1. This, rolling of the shoulders, gently, whichever style you do it in, or like this, is all okay. Get rid of the stress accumulated. Neck, loosening, very gently. You can roll the head very, very gently. All these are the basic you can devise your own form, whichever you find comfortable or you're accustomed to. Do that. I used to do one which I found extremely useful, especially in the cold if you have to sit for a long time. I latch on to the knee, the spine is straight, take a breath, breathe out and tug, gently pull. I found this very useful. Now the whole thing in this is, once I have to move to get hold of this knee, I'm pushing and stretching, but once I have latched on, I loosen up. So if I let go of this, my body comes back. So once I have latched on, I am not moving ahead, I'm pulling at the knee, and I'm ensuring that the knee doesn't come up. That's all. Keep the spine straight as much as possible. When I'm doing it, I'm feeling the pull here, right from here, shoulder blades, the back. That pull is very, very good. It gets rid of a lot of lethargy, which will hit after a few minutes of japa. So right in the beginning, get rid of that, relax. This is the external. That's it. This itself will get you into a very good state of mind where there is tremendous receptivity and a keenness to go deeper. By now you'll have dealt with your immediate worries and anxieties and plans, etc. for the day, and they are on hold. Not now. Now I'm doing this. That sort of a conviction will have come by this stage itself. Now in Dhyana Praveshika, we have used a lot of techniques like using the Bijaksharas, and you visualize the Sankocha Sharira, that is the mind. It's being dried out, it's burnt, then Amrita Sinchana on it, and then it is given a new body. Now with this new mind, I'll do the japa. That's a very beautiful process, but we won't go into that right now. We'll go into something very, very simple. I am taking time because I am talking. If you were just to do this, it won't take very long. So you can incorporate it in your daily japa. So what I have found extremely useful, I think we'll just take that today. We are all aware of the chakras, Mooladhara chakra, Swadhisthana, Navel, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agnya, Sahasrara. Now there is one process by way of which the Hatha Yogi, using the bandhas, pranayam, awakens the Kundalini. That will happen in its own due course. We don't have to bother. We seek purification of the entire Sushumna Nadi, of all the chakras. The chakras have become feeble or they are crippled. Why? Because of Vyavahara. In our day-to-day activity, we are indulge in anger, worry, hurt, a sense of insult, etc., etc., and this cripples all the chakras. Now we are trying to galvanize them, purify them, and activate them again. So for that, what can I seek? I can do it intentionally, or I can seek what I revere the most, what I truly believe in, the Guru Shakti. So this process starts from the Sahasrara, the purification, and I found it extremely useful. So we can do that. So once I sit down, I have already done the Nyasa. After Achaman Pranayam, the Vinyoga, the Nyasa. What is the Nyasa? You do Nyasa? You don't do? You do, no? Prabhu. So Nyasa, the mantra, each mantra has its Nyasa. The Nyasa is to place in trust. Literally, trust. Nyasa, that word is used in Hindi for this is a charitable trust. So yeah, trust hai, nyas hai, it's a trust. So I place in trust. As I told you, this is my body. I am, but this is my body. I am invoking the Devata, my Ishta Devata. So the Ishta Devata has been given to me, so to say, in the form of the mantra. That mantra is something audible, something I have heard and I am going to repeat. So that is not necessarily Chaitanya. But the mantra is intimately connected to the Chaitanya, that is the conscious element, that is the Devata. So the mantra which I can hear, which I can write down, I am going to place in my body. Because that happens to be the receptacle or the vehicle or the body of the Devata. What? The mantra. The audible mantra is the vehicle of the Devata, which is consciousness, power. So I place that mantra in my body, that is Nyasa. So you have three elements of Nyasa. Rishi is in the Sahasrara, Rishaya Namaha, Chandasi. When I utter the mantra, it should be correctly uttered. So I place the meter in the mouth, the Devata in the heart, the Bija in the Mooladhara, the Shakti in the legs, and the Kilaka of the mantra in the Nabhi. This is what we do. And then just wash the hands, they are wet. Angushtabhyam Namaha. The mantra is again Tarjanibhyam Namaha, Madhyamabhyam Namaha, Anamikabhyam Namaha, Kanishtikabhyam Namaha, Karatala Karaprishtabhyam Namaha. You have all the fill-ins for your particular mantra. This is the common I am saying. Then the third nyas is Hridayaya Namaha, Shirase Swaha, Amuk Mantrasya, that particular Bijakshara, Shikhaye Vashat, Kavachaya Hum, Netratrayaya Vashat, Astraya Phat. 1, 2, 3 and a half times. Sardhatraya Talavadanam. 1, 2, 3. So Amuk Astraya Phat. Synchronize it. This is very powerful. They are the Vedic Nipatas. They are Shabdas like Namaha, Swaha, Vashat, Vaushat, Phat. These are called Vedic Nipatas. They are words which the sheer Ucharana of which gives the necessary result, even if you don't understand the meaning. So they are used when the mantra is completely stabilized in the body. We are divinizing the body. Now, having taken care of that, now I am going into the internal process of visualization. Active, powerful visualization. So this, the simplest, is what I am going to do. I think you can just listen, because I'll be keeping my eyes closed now. So I am seated here for japa. I invoke the Guru Shakti. The Guru Shakti comes to me in the form of the Guru Paduka. These Guru Padukas I invoke in my Sahasrara Chakra, at the crown of my head. The Guru Padukas represent the entire Guru Parampara. These resplendent Padukas I invoke in my Sahasrara. They are necessarily beyond my reach. They are beyond mind, thought. The Devatas, the various Shaktis which uphold the universe, these Shaktis are propitiating my Guru Padukas. These divine Shaktis are doing the Abhisheka of these Guru Padukas. And they do the Abhisheka with not water but with Amrita. These Guru Padukas which are on the Sahasrara, I sense their presence, and all the Amrita that has bathed them cascades down into my Sahasrara. I feel that, I visualize it, I hold that. This Amrita pervades my entire body. It purifies the Sahasrara Chakra. It purifies my Agnya Chakra. As it moves further down, as it flows down, it purifies my Vishuddha Chakra. And I feel that. As this Amrita flows further down, my Anahata Chakra is purified, is awakened. As it awakens, my Anahata Chakra fills me with love, peace and strength. All that is depleting, all emotions that are depleting, worry, anxiety, irritability, fear, these feelings, these negative feelings are just washed away. And I feel my Anahata, my heart lotus opening, blossoming at the touch of the Amrita from the Guru Paduka. The Amrita flows further down. My Manipuraka Chakra is activated. I feel the surge of energy in me. Further down, the Swadhisthana Chakra is activated, purified. I sense the Amrita cleansing, awakening my Mooladhara Chakra. My entire Sushumna Nadi has been purified, cleansed, and it has been opened. I bow down to this grace. I accept this as the anugraha of my Guru. And I respond in my own manner. I bring my attention on my Mooladhara Chakra. In my Mooladhara Chakra, the four-petaled lotus, I do the pratishtha of the Bijakshara Aim. The Aim Bijakshara is placed in the Mooladhara Chakra. Aim Bijakshara, I use this to awaken the dormant Shakti. I will sense, I will perceive the working of this Shakti at a level which motivates me, guides me, impels me into action, into powerful Ojasvi action. This strengthens my sadhana, my seva. Next, I bring my attention to my Anahata Chakra, my heart lotus, which has been purified by the Amrita Sinchana. In my heart lotus, now I placed the Bijakshara Hreem. Hreem is the most fundamental Bijakshara, seed syllabic mantra of the mother. Hreemkara. I sense this Hreemkara reverberating in my Anahata Chakra, dispelling ignorance, dispelling gloom, dispelling, burning away lethargy, filling me with joy, filling me with abundance, filling me with strength, filling me with poise and love. The friction, the unhappiness that is generated when I begin to work is dispelled by the Hreemkara, which brings about, gives me, confers on me emotional stability. With such an awakened Anahata Chakra, in which the Hreem is reverberating, I can dare to aspire for the spiritual goal. I now bring my attention on my Ajna Chakra between the eyebrows. I wait here patiently for the Ajna of the Guru. And once I get that, my mind leaps into the Sahasrara Chakra. There I am in the presence of the Guru Paduka. This is the fulfillment that I have been seeking, and here in the Sahasrara Chakra, I invoke, I do the pratishtha of the Bijakshara Shreem, of fullness, of fulfillment. This is my spiritual path, this is my inward journey. I am going to invoke it repeatedly in the form of a mantra. I am going to energize my entire Sushumna Nadi. I am going to build up the potential, develop the spiritual samskaras. So again, I do the pratishtha, I invoke Aim Bija in my Mooladhara, which galvanizes me into action. As my awareness rises, I invoke the Hreem Bija in my Anahata, my heart lotus, and my action becomes purified and strong. In my Anahata Chakra, I lose the Raga Dvesha which contaminates action. So with this powerful motivation towards seva, I bring my attention, I offer everything, I sublimate everything in the Sahasrara Chakra using the Bijakshara Shreem. This process I will go through repeatedly with this mantra Uchcharana. ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं गुरुभ्यो नमः। 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 गुह्यातिगुह्य गोप्त्रीत्वं गृहाणास्मत्कृतं जपन् सिद्धिर्भवतु मे देवी त्वत्प्रसादान्महेश्वरी. Since I had mentioned the Digbandhana as part of the 5 elements that you have to keep in mind when you sit: Achamana, Pranayama, Asana Shuddhi, Digbandhana, Prokshana. It can also be done after you have closed your eyes and you begin to do the Avahana of the Guru Shakti. So before we begin the Mantratmak Sadhana, you have to take the Anumati from the Guru to do that day's Anushthana. So Guru Smarana is done, invoking. When you do the Guru Smarana, you take the Anumati and Agni, red fire, emanates, it circles you. That provides the Digbandhana. The sadhaka, the shishya, doesn't deplete himself, but invokes the Guru Shakti to afford him, to give him the Digbandhana. So it comes from the Guru, it's a flow of fire, circles, encircles the shishya, goes back. That continues. That is the Digbandhana that is given out of sheer love by the Guru to the shishya. Invoke that first. Then invoke the Guru Paduka in the Sahasrara, the Amrita Sinchana, which flows down. It isn't water that it will flow off the skin. It is Amrita which will percolate, will pervade, enlivening, awakening all the chakras. Then the Aim Bija, galvanizing you into action. But action naturally brings about a lot of friction, unhappiness, misunderstandings. All that is set right, purified in the Anahata Chakra with Hrinkar, because there your emotion is one pure emotion, unsullied, undiluted bhakti. Hrim. And then the Sahasrara, Shrim, where it is fulfillment of all that you have to do, all that you have to achieve. Everything is offered there. The Samarpana happens in the Sahasrara. Aim, Hrim, Shrim. Repeatedly, Aim, Hrim, Shrim. This process, you can say it a few times. This is your internal sadhana. Then that subsides. The uttering of also these bijaksharas, Aim, Hrim, Shrim, they are very soothing. So if you want to feel any vibrations, you can feel it like that. Then keep quiet. Then your internal japa, actual mantra starts. Your mantra, Ishta mantra, you cannot say it aloud. Don't attempt to. So having awakened this, then once it subsides, the Ucharana, you stop using the Vaikhari, uttered speech. At the Madhyama level, you start your japa. So at the Madhyama level of speech, when you start your japa, you are not uttering it, your lips are not moving, but you find the tip of your tongue moves as the mantra happens. So you have to relax further. See that even the tongue doesn't move when you are doing your mental japa. The only thing that moves is the mala. The tip of the tongue should not move. You are disassociating the mantra japa from all the physical, whatever you are accustomed to using when you utter the mantra. Relax. The tongue is kept against the upper palate, so it won't move. Don't tighten up, screw up your face trying to concentrate. Relax. Deliberately relax. Then you find the mantra will start moving. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. If it's Om Namah Shivaya, it will go on. Otherwise it will get stuck. Om Namah Shivaya. Won't move it. No. Relax. Only this moment. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Then the problem arises. You may link the breathing with the mantra japa. So, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. This is very dangerous. De-link that also. Let the mantra happen, the speed will increase, so you should not be found gasping for breath. Let the breathing be very natural. Relax, relax, relax. Once your breathing is relaxed, just keeping the core a little tight, you find a lot of power. And then the mantra will speed up. There we can say we are observing it at a very subtle level of speech, the Pashyanti level, where you're just seeing it happening. The mantra is going on. You're not necessarily laboriously uttering the mantra. It is going on and you're just paying attention to it. That stage is very precious. Don't disturb yourself when it happens. Be with it. All the while being aware of the Guru Sannidhi, which has given you the protection, which has given you the mantra, now is there in that mantra as your Ishta Devata. With great love, appeal to it and let that mantra japa happen. When you have finished your designated number of malas, keep the mala in the palm of your hand, relax, sit, continue sitting, listen to the mantra. It will become very rich, the mantra. Then offer the japa you have done to the Guru, to the Devata. This is a simple process. It is not complicated. But you observe this, it will become very, very powerful. Each session you will come out of it strengthened in some way or the other. And that will reflect in your Vyavahara. Unnecessary apprehension, anxiety, fumbling, etc. will begin to cease. It will happen. So it gives you that poise, where you are poising, you are centering yourself in the consciousness. It is not dependent on your intellectual capacity, your wealth, your position, anything. Just, I belong to God. That conviction is now going to help you, guide you. Isn't it beautiful? And we miss out when you don't do the japa intelligently. Practice it daily, it happens. First session, Itlem Pura. The invoking, the prayers, etc. I think they are there in Dhyana Praveshika. You can listen. And don't get dependent on anything external. Even if you listen to it, then do it on your own. Otherwise it is like watching TV. Sorry, okay. This particular one I said, this is not an Ishta mantra I have given anybody. So I can freely use it and I can ask people to repeat it also. That is why. Generally your Ishta mantra is never said aloud. So I don't use any of the regular mantras that I initiate people in. But this is a common mantra, which is the Bijaksharas are Sri Vidya Bijaksharas, but they can be used. So here we are not using this Aim, Hreem, Shreem as a japa mantra. We are using it to trace the spiritual ascent. Aim, Muladhar, Hreem, Anahat, Shreem, fulfillment. From the grossest action, the sadhaka has to be motivated into action. Otherwise, lethargy. So he moves, okay, then he starts. Then it has to be purified. So I bring the awareness in the Sushumna Nadi into my Anahata. Because once a person gets activated, he wants to do a lot. The first obstacle he finds is his own confusing emotional states when dealing with people, not being understood or not understanding. So that emotional confusion we are dispelling using Hrinkar, where we assert our relationship with the Divine and accept all relationships intelligently but not as complete or fulfilling in their own, on their own. My connection with the Divine is more important and then all other relationships. Otherwise I am heading for disaster. I'll hurt myself and I'll hurt others also, because I'll start expecting, no, I have so much love for you, so you should behave like this to me. Get lost, who has got the time? We lose our intelligence. So we don't respect ourselves, we don't respect others. So when you connect to the Divine and then through that my responsibility is I'll deal with love, everything. But I won't become dependent on that, on those relationships. That purification comes in Hreem, because it gives expansion. Hreem is Bhuvaneshwari Bija, Rillekha, Ham, Akash. Rom, Agni, Eem, Chaitanya, and the Anuswara. It gives space. All that cramped feeling, that nervousness, apprehension is dispelled. Typically, ahankara is being dealt with. With that, again I bring my consciousness, awareness, so to say, on the Ajna Chakra. Wait, take the Anumati and go ahead and offer everything in the Sahasrara back to the Guru Paduka. Aim Hrim Shrim Gurubhyo Namaha. Aim Hrim Shrim Gurubhyo Namaha. So I can repeat this just 11 times because it's very soothing. Then it subsides. I am not going to use the Vaikhari, that is uttered speech. By then I am poised, so I start my Ishta Mantra, which is different from this Aim Hrim Shrim Gurubhyo Namaha. Slowly from the physical to the pranic to the external protection to the mental visualization, to the mantra and the bijakshara, and then finally your Ishta mantra, and there you begin your japa. That can go on. There are other visualizations also. Visualizations where you visualize you have walked into the temple, you do the parikrama, the Guru is there, he is doing the puja of the Ishta Devata, and along with him you do it. That sort of a connection building is also there. That is called Manasa Puja. That is very, very powerful. So that also can be done. But that is left to the sadhaka. This purification method is the simplest and we can go about it. Ajkanch Korea. Basura Korea. Zatel ki. Aikal yanki tune. Bhasura Shri Bhavani Bhatu Bhatu Bhasura Bhasura Shri Bhavani Bhatu Bhatu Bhasura Mama Hridaye Bhasura Bhasura Shri Bhavani Bhatu Bhatu Bhasura Bhasura Shri Bhavani Bhatu Bhatu Bhasura Mama Hridaye Bhasura Nagapati Kula Tilakavati Nagapati Kula Tilakavati Neti Neti Shruti Nangatihi Neti Neti Shruti Nangatihi Jagadodaya Pralaya Rata Jagadodaya Pralaya Rata Japa Kusuma Bhasura Japa Kusuma Bhasura Bhasura Shri Bhavani Bhatu Bhatu Bhasura Bhasura Shri Bhavani Bhatu Bhatu Bhasura मम हृदये भासुरा न तजन समुद्धरण तरी न तजन समुद्धरण तरी नव नव रस नटन करी नव नव रस नटन करी दहन नयन तनुश्रिता दहन नयन तनुश्रिता दहर कुहर भासुरा दहर कुहर भासुरा भासुरा श्री भवानी भातु भातु भासुरा मम हृदये भासुरा शिवा उमा महेश्वरी शिवा उमा महेश्वरी श्रीं ह्रीं बीजाक्षरी श्रीं ह्रीं बीजाक्षरी त्रिपुरामथन पतिव्रता त्रिपुरामथन पतिव्रता तरुण तपन भासुरा तरुण तपन भासुरा भासुरा श्री भवानी भातु भातु भासुरा मम हृदये भासुरा मम हृदये भासुरा Bhasura, Sura, the Devatas, Asura, the demons. Bhasura, Bha is Prakash, light, the resplendence, the power of the Devatas, Bhasura. She is one Shakti who not only creates this perceptible universe, Brahmanda, but she imparts, she designates, she delegates authority to the Devatas. So she is the Moola Shakti. So she is Bhasura. That's Samvit Swarupini. So Bhasura, Bhasura, He Bhavani, Bhatu, become resplendent in my heart, mama hridaye. You are all pervasive, but because of my ignorance I can't see you. Now reveal yourself in my heart. भातु प्रकाशित हो मेरे हृदय में, सर्वत्र प्रकाशमान हो, पर फिर भी मैं तुम्हें देख नहीं सकता. अब मेरे हृदय में भातु प्रकाशित हो. भातु, भासुरा. We are invoking that. Nagapati Kula Tilakavati. Parvati, Nagapati Himavan Kula Tilakavati. She who is born in the Kula, the family of Himavan, the pride of his family, that was Parvati. That same Parvati who is extolled in the Puranas is that Brahma Vidya Swarupini. That is why in the Vedantic terminology, na iti Brahma Vidya Swarupini. Don't get stuck at this. No, you are not that. You are not that. What are you? You cannot be defined, but you are not this, not this. Go till you reach yourself. Understand yourself. Na iti shrutinang gatihi. Vedanta. So she, Jagat Udaya Pralaya Rata, she who is always engaged in creating, sustaining and dissolving the universe, she, when she is meditated upon, appears with a red luster. Japa Kusuma Bhasura. Her I invoke. Any manifestation of Shakti will be perceived, in that red glow. So I appeal to her. Mahadev.